Most people are not held back by the world. They are held back by the voice inside their own mind, that voice that whispers doubt, fear, guilt, hesitation, and unworthiness. That voice is the architect of your limitations. And it isn't life that traps you. It's the invisible patterns you continue to accept as truth. The greatest prison you will ever escape from is the prison of your own conditioned thinking. This prison has no walls, no guards, and no locks. It exists entirely within you, in the form of mental habits you've never questioned and emotional reactions you've normalized. These unseen patterns are what we call your erroneous zones, the zones within your mind where you surrender your power without even realizing it. These zones quietly dictate how you think, how you feel, how you act, and ultimately, what you manifest. They are the silent thieves of your personal power, robbing you of your potential long before you ever take a step toward your dreams. And the most astonishing part is this: you have lived with these zones for so long that you've begun to mistake them for your identity. But here is a truth that can liberate you the moment you accept it. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who notices them. You are not the fear. You are the awareness that sees the fear. You are not the doubt. You are the consciousness in which that doubt appears. When you realize this, you stop living as a prisoner and start living as the creator. Every dream you have ever imagined is waiting for the moment you step beyond these zones. Every possibility, every opportunity, and every miracle you seek is already aligned with you, but you cannot receive them while living under the authority of thoughts that were never yours to begin with. These are inherited beliefs, absorbed fears, learned patterns, and conditioned reactions that no longer serve the person you are becoming. Your erroneous zones show up whenever you shrink yourself to make others comfortable, whenever you choose fear because it feels safer than possibility, whenever you replay past mistakes, whenever you chase approval, whenever you allow guilt to shape your decisions, whenever you silence your intuition to avoid judgment. Each of these moments is a reminder that you have been living according to a script you did not write. This video and this message is an invitation to reclaim authorship of your life, to step out of the invisible cages you built without knowing, to become conscious of the thoughts that shape your reality and the emotions that dictate your vibration. Because the truth is simple: you cannot manifest a powerful life while living with powerless thoughts. Your transformation begins with awareness. Once you see the cage, you no longer remain inside it. Once you notice the pattern, you no longer live unconsciously. Once you realize that every limitation started as a thought, you take back the power to choose new thoughts. This is the beginning of inner freedom, and inner freedom is the foundation of manifestation. You cannot attract a new reality while clinging to the thinking patterns of the old one. So today, we step into the first and most crucial stage of transformation, identifying the erroneous zones that silently shape your life, so you can dismantle them one by one and reclaim the power that has always been yours. Your erroneous zones are not accidental. They formed over years of conditioning, repetition, societal expectations, and emotional experiences. But once you recognize them, you reclaim your power. Awareness is the beginning of mastery, because you cannot change what you cannot see. These zones are not enemies, they are signals pointing to the places within you that are ready to evolve. One of the deepest erroneous zones is seeking approval. The moment you depend on others to validate your worth, you surrender your inner authority. You let external voices decide who you should be. When your happiness is outsourced, your power dissolves. This zone keeps you small because it tells you to shape yourself according to opinions that change every day. But manifestation is impossible when your energy is scattered across the thoughts of others. Your power returns the moment you understand that self-approval is the only approval that creates freedom. Another common erroneous zone is worry, the habit of mentally rehearsing undesirable outcomes. Worry is the imagination misused. It takes your creative energy and invests it into fear. And every moment spent in worry is a moment spent manifesting what you don't want. Worry never prevents problems, it only prevents peace. This zone is a sign that you're living in the future instead of the present, forgetting that the present is the only place where change actually begins. Then there is guilt, one of the most crippling erroneous zones. Guilt keeps you anchored to the past, replaying old memories as if reliving them will somehow change them. But guilt serves no creative purpose. It drains your energy, lowers your vibration, and convinces you that you are unworthy of moving forward. The past cannot be re-experienced, it can only be learned from. When guilt no longer controls you, creation becomes effortless. Another powerful erroneous zone is the fear of change. Even when people desire a new life, they cling to the familiarity of the old one. Fear of change convinces you that discomfort is safer than possibility. But every breakthrough requires you to step into the unknown. Manifestation cannot occur inside your comfort zone because your comfort zone only contains what already exists. Everything you desire lies beyond the edge of familiarity. There is also the erroneous zone of self-doubt. This is the internal narrative that whispers you're not good enough, not ready, not capable. These thoughts are lies, inherited from a past version of yourself or words once spoken by someone who couldn't see your potential. Every time you believe these thoughts, you shrink your energy, and your energy, your belief in yourself, is the fuel of manifestation. When self-doubt loses its power, your inner world expands and life expands with it. Finally, one of the most subtle erroneous zones is living for others. When you shape your choices around expectations, you abandon your authentic self. You silence your inner voice to keep peace, to avoid judgment, or to maintain an illusion. But manifestation requires authenticity. You cannot attract a life that is aligned with you while living as someone you are not. These erroneous zones are not signs of weakness, they are opportunities for awakening. They reveal the exact places within you where your freedom begins. The moment you recognize them, you reclaim the authority to choose differently. And when you choose differently, life responds differently. Every reality you have ever experienced began as a vibration within you. Before a manifestation appears, before an opportunity arrives, before a door opens, something inside you aligns with it. Inner alignment is the silent architect of your life. And whether you are aware of it or not, you are always manifesting from the vibration you hold, not the words you speak. Your thoughts create the direction of your life, because your dominant thoughts shape your dominant energy. You cannot attract abundance from a mindset trained in lack. You cannot receive love from a heart filled with fear. You cannot manifest expansion while thinking in limitation. Inner alignment is not about forcing life to bend to your will. It is about shaping your inner state until life naturally matches you. When you understand this, you stop trying to control the outer world and begin mastering the inner world, the only place where true creation begins. Inner alignment is simple. Your life responds to your vibration, not your desires. Wanting something is not enough. You must become the version of yourself who already has it. You must think like that version, feel like that version, act like that version, not someday, but now. Manifestation is never delayed, it is only misaligned. When your thoughts contradict your desires, your manifestation cannot reach you. But when your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs move in the same direction, life shifts rapidly. Every erroneous zone is an energy leak that disrupts your alignment. Worry lowers your vibration. Guilt pulls you into the past. Fear freezes your creative energy. Seeking approval disconnects you from intuition. Doubt blocks your ability to receive. When you live from these zones, you unintentionally manifest from a fragmented, scattered inner world. But alignment occurs the moment you choose thoughts that support the life you want. Alignment occurs when your energy becomes intentional instead of reactive. Alignment occurs when you stop waiting for external proof and start creating internal certainty. The universe mirrors your certainty, not your hesitation. Inner alignment is not about becoming perfect, it's about becoming aware. It's about noticing the thoughts that don't serve you and gently choosing new ones. When you shift your inner world, even by a small degree, the outer world begins to reflect the change. The deepest alignment begins when you understand this truth. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If you want peace, become peaceful. you want love, become loving. If you want abundance, become the version of yourself who trusts in abundance. If you want freedom, release the thoughts that imprison you. Your energy is the magnet. Your thoughts are the instructions. Your alignment is the invitation. When you realign with clarity, presence, and self-belief, you step into your natural creative state. Your manifestations accelerate. Opportunities appear. People shift. Circumstances reorganize themselves around your new frequency. Life bends toward the inner truth you choose to embody. Because alignment isn't a technique, it is a remembering, a returning to your original power, a reclaiming of the energy you once gave away to erroneous zones. And when you step back into alignment, life flows effortlessly, beautifully in your favor. Transformation begins not with force, but with awareness. When you see your erroneous zones clearly, they begin to lose their authority over you. They no longer operate in the shadows. You become conscious of every thought that drains your energy, every emotion that dims your light, every belief that no longer reflects who you are becoming. And from this awareness, you gain the power to shift. The first step in shifting is interruption. You must interrupt the patterns that have been running your life by default. The moment a worry thought arises, pause. The moment doubt whispers its old narrative, pause. The moment guilt resurfaces, pause. This pause is not weakness, it is power. It is you reclaiming control from automatic thinking. When you interrupt a pattern, you weaken it. After interruption comes observation. Ask yourself, is this thought supporting my highest self? Does this belief reflect the life I want? Does this emotion belong to the past or the present? Observation brings clarity. You begin to see the difference between the voice of your conditioning and the voice of your intuition. One limits, one liberates, then comes replacement. You cannot remove an erroneous zone by fighting it. You dissolve it by choosing a new thought that aligns with the reality you want to create. If the thought says, I'm not capable, replace it with, I am learning to trust my own power. If the thought says, I might fail, replace it with, I am willing to grow. If the thought says, I need their approval, replace it with, I approve of myself. These statements are not affirmations to escape reality. They are mental redirections that guide your energy into alignment. The next stage is presence. Most erroneous zones exist because the mind is trapped in the past or projecting into the future. Presence dissolves these illusions. When you bring your awareness into this moment, this breath, this emotion, this thought, you stop feeding old patterns. Presence is the gateway to clarity. It returns your energy back to you. It reminds you that you have power right now, not yesterday and not tomorrow. After presence comes self-support. Many people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to someone they love. Shifting out of erroneous zones requires developing a new internal relationship, one built on compassion, encouragement, and trust. When doubt arises, support yourself. When fear surfaces, comfort yourself. When confusion appears, guide yourself. You become your own inner ally instead of your own critic. Finally, the most powerful shift is choosing intuition over fear. Fear is loud, reactive, and filled with stories. Intuition is quiet, steady, and always aligned. Fear pulls you toward safety. Intuition pulls you toward growth. When you start choosing the whisper of intuition instead of the shout of fear, your life begins to move in a new direction, a direction aligned with your true path. Shifting out of erroneous zones is not a single moment, it is a practice. But every shift, no matter how small, increases your energy, raises your vibration, and expands your inner freedom. You begin to recognize your own mind as a tool, not a master. You begin to shape your thoughts instead of reacting to them. And slowly, beautifully, powerfully, you create a new inner pattern, one that supports your highest reality. There comes a moment in every awakened life when a person realizes something profound. No one is coming to save you, and that is your greatest freedom. The moment you stop waiting for permission, validation, or perfect timing, you reclaim authorship over your destiny. Self-direction is the point where transformation stops being a concept and becomes a lifestyle. It is the moment you decide that your inner world will no longer be governed by old patterns, but by conscious choice. Most people drift through life reacting to circumstances. They wait for opportunities instead of creating them. They wait for clarity instead of choosing it. They wait for confidence instead of embodying it. But the truth is simple. Life does not respond to waiting. Life responds to direction. And the direction you choose begins in your thoughts, your decisions, and your beliefs about what is possible for you. Every erroneous zone you dissolve strengthens your self-direction. When you stop seeking approval, you begin to lead instead of follow. When you stop worrying, you begin to trust the flow of life. When you release guilt, you free yourself from the past. When you let go of fear, you open the door to possibility. When you silence self-doubt, you rise into your own power. These shifts create an internal momentum that begins shaping your outer world. Self-direction means understanding that you create your reality from the inside out. If you wait for circumstances to change before you change your mindset, you will wait forever. But when you change your mindset first, circumstances start to reorganize themselves around your new energy. Self-direction is the bridge between thought and experience, between desire and manifestation. This power shows up in small moments. The choice to think differently, to act differently, to trust differently. It shows up when you choose presence over distraction, when you choose belief over fear, when you choose to take one more step even when the path is uncertain. These small choices accumulate, building an inner strength that becomes unshakable. When you direct your own energy, you stop living on autopilot. You stop allowing old emotions to dictate your actions. You stop being pulled by external forces. Instead, you become aligned, grounded, and intentional. You begin to feel an inner certainty that does not rely on evidence. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You move differently. This energy becomes magnetic. It draws opportunities, people, and possibilities that match your new vibration. Self-direction does not mean forcing life. It means moving with clarity, knowing that every choice you make is shaping your future. When you trust yourself, your decisions gain power. When you believe in your path, obstacles shrink. When you take responsibility for your inner state, you become unstoppable. Because the truth is that no one can direct your mind but you. No one can align your energy but you. No one can decide your future but you. Your erroneous zones lose their influence the moment you take command of your inner world. Once you stop giving your power to fear, doubt, guilt, and external opinions, you become the creator of your own path. And life responds to creators with abundance, clarity, and momentum. This is the power of self-direction, the power to shape your reality with intention instead of habit. Every transformation has a single defining moment. The moment you realize that you are no longer interested in carrying the weight that was never meant for you. Your erroneous zones were not your truth. They were simply the noise you inherited from the world around you. And now you stand at the threshold of a new beginning. This new beginning is not dramatic or distant. It starts quietly, internally, with a choice, the choice to let go of the thoughts that sabotage your potential, to let go of the emotions that have overstayed their purpose, to let go of the limiting beliefs that were formed in moments of fear, not clarity. Letting go is not loss. Letting go is liberation. As you release these old patterns, you return to your natural state, a state of clarity, calmness, and inner strength. You begin to see that the world was never against you. Your unexamined thoughts were. You begin to understand that life has always been ready to respond to your highest self. It was simply waiting for you to stop responding from your lowest fears. Your new life begins when you recognize that you do not have to react to every thought that appears in your mind. You do not have to believe every story your past tells you. You do not have to shrink yourself to fit into the expectations of others. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to grow. You are allowed to become everything you once doubted you could be. Letting go means stepping into the present moment with full awareness. It means choosing who you want to be instead of replaying who you once were. It means choosing what you want to feel instead of surrendering to automatic emotions. It means choosing how you want to live with intention, clarity, and honor for your inner truth. You begin to notice that life feels lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your energy becomes stronger. The more you release, the more space you create for new manifestations. The more you let go, the more life flows in your favor. You start to attract experiences that match your new vibration, opportunities that align with your growth, people who resonate with your authenticity, and moments that reflect your inner peace. This journey does not end here. Awareness is the beginning, alignment is the path, and self-direction is the practice. But the transformation continues every day that you choose yourself over your old patterns. Every day that you choose clarity over confusion. Every day that you choose courage over fear. Every day that you choose presence over distraction. Your erroneous zones do not define you. They never have. What defines you is your ability to rise above them. What defines you is your willingness to awaken, to shift, and to create. You are the thinker of your thoughts, the director of your energy, and the creator of your reality. And now, having recognized the patterns that once limited you, you are free to step into the life you were always meant to live. And with the truth that aligns your entire being, I am no longer controlled by the patterns of my past. I choose freedom. I choose presence. I choose myself. This is where your new life begins.